What's going on, guys? Welcome to Tony's Tech Talk, Episode 6. Episode 6 is recorded on May 14th, 2014. I'm Tony Handes, and I hope you all had a wonderful and glorious day. I had one hell of a hot day, and I'm still kind of glistening. So I apologize if you can see your reflection in the glisteningness of my forehead. But in any case, we haven't had an episode for, I would say, a couple of days, and we had our LTG show yesterday, which is the reason why I didn't do one yesterday. So go ahead and check that out. It was Sean Wilburn and myself, and check that out on my other channel, which is Lazy Tech TV, and we talk extensively on the net neutrality issue and a bunch of other things, including Wedge Antilles not being Star Wars Episode 7, which is a shame, but at the same time, it's understandable. So I kind of want to start off with tonight's show with something that's not necessarily tech-related, but I do feel that a lot of you guys out there, a lot of techies, are into this sort of thing just because, well, a good amount of people, at least my age, maybe my demographic, tend to sway in this direction of being interested in this type of entertainment, which is anime. So if I had to do like the anime choice of the month, last month would have been Attack on Titan, which is a great anime and, if I'm not mistaken, an amazing manga as well. But I don't have the time to read a manga, which is probably the reason why I don't have the time to read a book, which is why I recommend Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/lazy for that. But if you like to visually interact, well, not interact, but visually take in, instead of audibly take in the media, Attack on Titan was probably my pick of the month for last month. And for this month, my pick is actually, to me, a new series called Sword Art Online, which is available on Netflix, Crunchyroll, I mean, all your favorite kind of streaming, services, but Netflix is the place that I go to first and foremost because it is the first thing I turn on when I get a chance to watch. My wife can tell you, like, if I didn't have Netflix, I would probably use Hulu, which has a pretty good choice. But in any event, Sword Art Online takes these kids, and they're about 16, 17 years old, and they are put into a virtual reality MMORPG, which is pretty cool because we are now getting into the realm where, virtual reality is becoming more and more of a real thing instead of this kind of like 90s, like octagonal blockage kind of very weird experience and not very immersive whatsoever, just more of something that gave people motion sickness. And now with the Oculus Rift and Project Morpheus from PlayStation, Sony, it's getting to the point where, like, okay, this might be a medium that we can actually, like, really get into and enjoy. And in this TV show, I'm talking too much, but in this TV show, not only is it virtual reality, but it also, like, they pretty much completely get immersed into it. It's called the Nerve Gear, and essentially something happens, and if you die in the game, you die in real life. So basically, the only way to get out of the game is to beat the boss, and it's just a very, very well, in my opinion, very well written series. And I'm assuming the manga is just as good, if not better. I'm sure they left out a bunch of things that in the manga is a lot of fun. This is rated TV 14, so if you've got children that are 7 or younger, there might be some content that might not be appropriate for them. There's a lot of cleavage, obviously. It's anime, and they do, there's a little bit of boob grabbage, and they do, point that out at one point, which is obviously very hilarious. But if you don't want to show that to your children, just be aware of it. Go watch Pokemon or Beyblades. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and like I said, it's on Netflix. Go check it out. So let's go ahead and dive into tech. Now, Motorola finally announced the long-rumored Moto E, and I'm not sure how they're coming up with these names. The Moto X was really, like, to me, I thought that it was going to be the extreme phone, and it was extremely not the extreme phone, but it was a very well respected and received phone to the small audience that got it. They really, really love it. If you have a Moto X, you really, really do like it. Then they came out with the Moto G, which was a great $200 off-contract phone, and it was 3G, and be great for the grandmother or whoever that wants to get into a smartphone, not have to worry about a contract, but wants good specifications and not a phone that's going to crap out on them. So there was that. Now there's the Moto E. So let's go ahead and take a look at it if you haven't got a chance to dabble in this. This is, well, here real quick. This is sort of online. See. Yeah, this is really bad. Anyway, so here we go. This is the Moto E. Now, based off of what you see there, very similar in the Moto G fashion, the back plates are changeable, but the battery is not removable. And one thing that needs to be known about this particular device, it is $129 off contract. Off contract. No subsidized, no long term, no down payment. That's $129 plus tax, and boom. Bob's your uncle. And here in the United States, Motorola has noted that United States carriers are going to be carrying this device, but they haven't specified which carriers would be doing this. But you can probably assume Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile are going to be amongst the top carriers who are going to be doing this, as well as some of the prepaid like Cricket, Metro, and some others. The other specifications on this guy, we are looking at essentially a phone that is, I wouldn't say bare bones, because this is running Android 4.4 KitKat, which is really, really nice that it's coming out with KitKat even though it's a lower end phone. And Motorola is really kicking ass in the entry-level market for the emerging markets, or even just for the markets here in the United States for the individuals that just don't want to pay a crap load of money for like the Galaxy Note or the Galaxy S5 or what have you, the iPhone 6 or iPhone 5. Talking more on the specifications of this phone, there's definitely a few differences in terms of, if you're looking at this versus the Moto G or even the Moto X for that matter. It does have very similar form factor. But one thing that needs to be known about this is that there is actually no front-facing camera. And I thought that was kind of an interesting change, because the front-facing camera these days is becoming a little bit even more so important than the rear camera. I mean, definitely with selfies and things like that, that's kind of goes without saying for the kids. And if you're going to get this for the kids, that's what kids do. They're going to want to take selfies. But there's also the matter of video chat. And I guess maybe Motorola, aside from trying to keep the costs down, they figured, well, the person who's going to get this phone maybe isn't really going to want to do video chat. I mean, I'll tell you, with my phone, I have the Note 3, and I'll do video chat maybe once a month. But it's interesting, like, what they decided to leave out. Also on the screen, it's a 4.3-inch screen, 960 by 540 display with Gorilla Glass 3. So it's not the greatest quality by far. But again, depending on what you're looking at, what you're doing, you may or may not notice any difference. Micro USB, micro SD slot, because it only has 4 gigabytes of internal memory, 1 gigabyte of RAM, and the processor is a 1.2 dual-core Snapdragon 200 processor. If I hadn't mentioned already, it's got a 5-megapixel camera on the back. So this is going to be a phone that you get for the youngin that is getting into 6th grade. But for those of you that don't know how old you are when you get into 6th grade, it's about the time that smartphones is kind of a staple in that social, if you will. My son goes to a school where it goes all the way up to 8th grade, and I even see kids in like 5th grade who have smartphones, and I just, it's up to you as a parent, obviously, but I don't see a reason why you have to in 5th grade. But yeah, go check it out and YouTube on Motorola's website, Motorola's channel, if you will, and you'll get definitely some more information about when this is going to become available to you in your respective markets. But for what it is, for $129, I think it's really great. And the other nice thing about it is that it's starting to get into that price factor, that price range where getting a contract isn't something that seems necessary anymore. It's like, okay, I could do a contract, get the phone for free, but I'll be in a contract for 2 years, or I could just shell out $130 plus tax, and it's it's a lot less than having to spend $200 on a concert. So I understand also that they removed a lot of the like the coolness factor of the phone in terms of some of the other specifications. There's no LTE. Actually, regarding the LTE, the Moto G just got announced to get LTE with a $50 increase in price. But again, Grandma doesn't need LTE. She just wants to play Angry Birds, Candy Crush, Bejeweled, and go on Facebook every once in a while, and she can do all that over Wi-Fi. So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and check the Q&A, see if anybody is. So how's it going, Bruce? How you doing? I'm dropping out. Is my connection dropping? Because we were having this issue on the LTG show yesterday. So if I'm dropping in and out, I do apologize, and hopefully you'll stick with me to the end on this one. But yeah, so that's the Moto E, and I don't know when they said that this would become available. When it does, though, let us know if you're gonna go ahead and jump on that. Now, talking about funny that we should be talking about Sword Art Online, which essentially is virtual reality, and you get immersed into it. Halfway into virtual reality is, I would say, augmented reality, or something that goes over your eyes, which at the moment we've got Google Glass from Google, we've got the Verix from Vizio, or the Verix, I forget. Some of the guys is something that looks kind of like Google Glass, but it's not as popular, I guess, if you could consider Google Glass to be popular. And then there's also Samsung. They're coming out with their Gear Glass or something to that effect. Up until now, Google Glass has been a closed beta. You had to be invited, and they had the open invitation, I think it was the 15th of April or something like that, where they said, hey, if you've got $1,500, one-day sale, one day. And apparently they sold out. Now, we don't necessarily know how many they had to sell. They might have only had 10, 20, 300, could have been 1,000. So they could have 1,000 additional explorers out there with glass on their head. I know an acquaintance of mine on Google Plus has been a proponent in Google Glass and hasn't had Google Glass for the past year, and he was just presented with Google Glass for him to keep and own. And I don't know if he was actually the one that bought it, or if the Google Glass application team development team actually bought it for him. I don't know. But in any case, Thomas, I know you've been loving your Google Glass because you've been hashtagging through Glass every single second. So, in any event, Google Glass is going back on sale here in the United States. So if you live outside the United States, even if you live right up top in Canada or Mexico, sorry, this is United States only. And Google Glass is available for everybody, whether you're a developer or not. If you've got $1,500 to spend and you have no idea what to spend it on, this is what you should spend it on. No, not really. Maybe you should pay your bills or donate to charity. But, it is open to the people with a lot of disposable income. And, honestly, for me, the big thing about Glass is it's still, because it is essentially still it's an open beta. It's still beta. It's not a consumer product. And if you're a consumer, if you're not a developer, you shouldn't take this unit away from a possible developer who could develop for it and have a wonderful application, but too bad they can't because you have it on your head and you're not doing anything with it. You're just walking around taking pictures of random birds and people and looking like a glass hole. I'm sorry, but I just hope that there is. I know Google's not going to do any kind of vetting, and maybe they have a bunch of glass that they can afford just to say, whether you develop on this or not, we don't care. We just want to get it out there so more people are going to be a little bit more familiar with glass out there. Even if, for those that are not in the tech industry, they'll walk in the mall like, hey, what's that on your face? Oh, it's glass. Okay, I know what that is. And hopefully by that point also less people would be a little bit more uptight about the whole situation. Actually, I was walking through the mall and the Proactive vendor had Google Glass on with regular glass, or regular glasses, his prescription glasses. I was like, oh, that's cool, and I walked on. And then he was actually talking with people, and from what I could tell, they didn't they didn't feel like they're being invaded or anything like that. But I don't know. But yeah, if you've got, like I said, if you've got $1,500 to spare to spend to just throw out there, and you feel that glass could help your lifestyle and help people around you or whatever, or if there's that really awesome Google Glass app that you gotta try before Google Glass becomes a consumer product, hopefully by the end of this year, early next year, then I think it's open now. I think you can just go to google.com/glass or whatever the URL is and order it and throw down your credit card through Google Wallet, and Bob's your uncle. You got glass in a couple of weeks. The one thing that Jason Howell from Twit mentioned that he experienced Google Glass, I think, last week was when his daughter took her first steps and he was able to record it through Glass. I have a daughter, I have a family, and the one thing I know is like when you are holding your phone like this, the individual changes their mode. They change to, oh, it's camera mode time, or they stop what they're doing because it's camera time, you know? But with Glass, at least the people, as long as they get used to the fact that you're wearing glass every day, just like you would wear a pair of regular sunglasses or a regular pair of prescription glasses, you could turn it on. They could do a wacky, crazy thing. You could save it forever, or they could take their first steps like Mr. Howell was able to do with his daughter, and he'll have that forever. Is that worth $1,500, though? That's the question. So, yeah, regular consumer, non-developer, don't spend your money now. Wait for the consumer product, because by the time the consumer product comes out, glass is going to be a much different product. Might not even look like the way it looks right now. Might even be two eyes. I don't know. We'll see. And personally, I'm waiting for a lot of the legislation to get passed and to get approved as well too, in terms of when you can actually use glass. And I'm waiting for all the places, all the public places to say no heads-up displays allowed in the mall, or no glass in the mall, or something like that. I'm just waiting because I don't want to spend all this money and then walk into a place and say, oh, I can't use it here. Oh, I can't use it here. Oh, I can't use it here. So I'm excited for this, because wearables, I'm totally excited about wearables. But I'm just a little tentative about how glass is going to be in the real world. In video games and in science fiction, it's awesome. In the real world, we have real privacy issues, and we have a lot of people that are just scared about it. And I just don't want to get punched in the face just by walking down the street. So now off to our, well, before we go off to our little section on rumors, let's see if there's any other questions. So I do see that there's one viewer, and again, Bruce, I don't know if that's you, but I hope, again, the connection speed's a lot better than it was a few moments ago. Rumor time, rumor time, rumor time. The Surface Pro 3. So let's talk about this. The Surface Pro 3 and the Surface Mini. Before we talk about this, I want to lay on the table my current employer is I would say partner, if you will, with Microsoft. So all of this, all of the speculation, all of the opinions that I have here are as myself as a private citizen, not as an employee, and they do not represent the thoughts and direction of Microsoft and what they're going, the way that they're going. Because honestly, May 20th, I have no idea what Microsoft has in store in regards to what they are announcing. We do know they're announcing something Surface related. And in their cutesy kind of invite, they said we're having a mini gathering. So we can almost assume that, okay, the Surface Mini is going to be unveiled, and there's also some talks that the Surface Pro 3 will be unveiled as well too. Now the question is this going to be the Surface Pro 3, like just the next generation of the Pro 3? I mean, I have the Pro, oh god, I have the Pro right here. Actually, it's just the Pro. It's not the Pro 2. But you know, I have experience with the Surface Pro 2 every single day, and that just came out in what, October, November, and it'll be a little soon for a Pro 3 to come out. If we're talking about life cycles of product. However, a Surface Mini, we've been kind of speculating on a Mini for over a year now. In fact, according to Mary Jo Foley and the other guy, you know, the guy with the super site, Paul Thurrott, sorry, yeah. He said that they were talking about Surface Mini about a year ago, and all the specifications and everything that they mentioned a year ago seem to be the same rumored specifications now. The only difference is it's essentially 8.1 update. That's really the only difference. So what's really nice about the Surface Mini is that it looks like it's still going to be ARM-based. And for those of you that don't know the difference between ARM architecture and x86 architecture, just to make it simple, ARM is more tablet or mobile-centric. x86 is more laptop and desktop-centric, like full-on Windows experience, if you will. ARM, we use ARM. There's an ARM chip in here, and the phone's an ARM chip in your tablet, and you know, there are obviously some limitations to it, but you know, Qualcomm is supposedly the chip manufacturer with the latest SoC system on a chip, and could be just a Qualcomm 801 processor. That'd be pretty good. I mean, it's the latest quad-core processor from Qualcomm at the moment, and they're working on an 805, which is freaking amazing. And also, although it is the RT version of Windows, there's also talks that you'll be able to use a proper digitizer with the screen. So what I mean by that is, up until now, if you try to use a stylus with the Surface RT or the Surface Pro, you can't. I mean, you can, but it's not very accurate. I mean, you have to really press, and it becomes to the point where, like, well, I'm just using my finger because it doesn't make a difference whether I use the stylus or not. There's Wacom technology in the Surface Pro, and that's why you're able to use a stylus like you can with the Note. This is a Wacom stylus, so, but you couldn't use this on the Surface 2 or the Surface RT. But it's looking like possible that with the ARM architecture, they're able to somehow make the screen capacitive touchscreen ready for styluses, but they're not quite sure if that would also be if it would be pressure sensitive as well too. So we'll see. 8 inches is the talk of the town when it comes to the screen size, and honestly, 7 inches is kind of the thing of the past. 8 inches, in my opinion, I have to agree. The Galaxy Tab 8-inch, the Galaxy Note 8-inch, the iPad Mini, which I believe is just around 8 inches. That is a perfect size. It's you could still operate with one hand, and you're able to have a good amount of real estate where you're not having to zoom in too much. And when you turn it sideways, games are very easily playable. You can see the video in full HD if you have a full HD screen and whatnot. So yeah, I think if they were to do a Surface Mini, and again, this is all speculation. You're not hearing anything from me as, oh, this is real stuff. This is all just, I don't know. But yeah, if the Surface Mini does come out, 8 inches is probably the sweet spot. And the question that I have, though, is how are they going to make the keyboard? Because here's the thing, the keyboard and kickstand. Because here's the thing, on the Surface 2 and the Surface Pro and all that other stuff, they have this really cool, unique feature where even the Nokia 2520 can't do this. This is magnetized from the bottom to the keyboard. It just goes like that. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, everybody sees it in the ad, and they want to mimic the ad. They want to do that with a little bit more accuracy, but they want to do that. And if the Surface Mini comes out, does that mean they're going to have mini versions of the touchpad or the type cover and the touch covers? And is it going to be the same kind of very strange charger? And what about the kickstand? If this is an 8-inch screen, is the kickstand just going to shrink with it, or are they going to make it? Because the 8-inch tablets are meant to be portrait, not really landscape. 10-inch tablets are landscape, but 8-inch tablets are portrait. So are they going to put a kickstand in portrait mode? But then if they put a kickstand in portrait mode, how are you going to use the kickstand with the keyboard? Because it doesn't just I don't know. I guess we'll find out on May 20th in the meatpacking district of New York City. So we'll find out more then, but until then, speculate away. Let me know what you guys think of the Surface Mini. But in addition to that, there's some talks that there's going to be a Surface Pro 3. I highly doubt that. They're talking about somehow making it with the Atom Pro. I don't know how, because there's not a new chip from Intel right now that could surpass the Haswell i5 unless they somehow like an i7, and I really don't think that Microsoft necessarily needs to do that at the moment. But again, this is the end of my speculation for the Surface family. Any and all comments and speculations of that were of my sole opinion and has no reflection or nothing connected directly to Microsoft and or its properties and partners. So I know that language is very badly worded, but my opinion, me. Okay, let's move on. One more, actually two more Apple-related rumors now. Talking about the Surface, one really cool thing about the Surface, or rather with Windows 8.1 or Windows 8 or whatever, you can actually have two apps running simultaneously in the same window. So you could split screen it. So you could have Skype in one little window and Netflix in the other window. You could be watching Sword Art Online, and then in the Skype window you could be chatting with me and saying, "Oh my God, that plot twist was amazing." Or you could just video chat. We could video chat like, "Oh my God, that plot twist was amazing." We don't have to do that, but yeah, you that's something that you could do on the Galaxy tabs. I guess the latest version of the Galaxy tabs as well as the Galaxy Note, and that was cool. But I think with that one you have to the apps have to be compatible to that. I don't know how that works really, to be honest with you. I really don't. But in terms of, again, rumor time, it looks like that Apple is possibly going to be doing something like that as well too. So from 9 to 5 Mac, we have found that in iOS 8 they're going to have a new split screen multitasking feature. So they have this, I would say, what's it called? A concept video here on 9 to 5 Mac. No, not that one. This one here. I have a concept video on 9 to 5 Mac here, just kind of guessing as to how this might work with the split screen multitasking. What they're saying is that you would double tap the home button, which would therein allow you to see all of the applications that are open at the same time. You hit the plus that would be at the top above your main screen there, and then you would be able to add other applications. And as of right now, they're only kind of demoing Apple applications. This is a different set of instructions and a different flow to do multi-window, but essentially, yes, it is kind of copying what Microsoft has done with Windows 8. So I'm not going to say if Microsoft should or should not be ready for this and be ready to be up in arms against Apple. I'm sure Apple has thought about this, but it is something that in this world of being able to do multiple things at the same time, the iPad surely lacks. On Android, whether you have a Galaxy Tab or not, there are apps that allow you to do this as well too. And I gotta say, being able to watch Netflix on my phone and surf the web is kind of handy. Or not Netflix, but YouTube. I can watch YouTube and surf the web or go on Facebook. That's kind of cool. You know, it draws the battery, sure, but I already know what I'm getting myself into. And the fact that Apple doesn't do this as of right now is kind of interesting. Also, talking about other, I guess, rumors, if you will, looks like the iPhone 6 is going to be larger and sharper with a 1704 by 960 resolution screen. Yeah, so according to Mark Gurman, Apple is testing two phones at the moment, and of these two phones, uh, the sharper screen is going to essentially be a lot better than a Retina, but it's still a little less than, say, the Galaxy S5, which has a 1080p display, and this one does not. And for those applications as well too that haven't been fully upgraded, Apple supposedly is working on something where they're able to triplicate the pixels of the apps all through, I'm assuming, all through software. So as of right now, you guys shouldn't have to worry about if you don't upgrade to the iPhone 6. App developers aren't really going to catch on to this whole new kind of set of APIs just yet. But yeah, I mean they're definitely going in the direction of a larger screen phone with possibly a 5.5-inch screen and a higher resolution panel as well too. And with that being said, are they copying Samsung? No, not necessarily. They're going where the public wants them to go. Public is, you know, I was at a family party and I pulled out my Galaxy Note 3 and I took a picture. And to me, the picture I took was kind of crappy. I was like, oh, all right, no problem. And my cousin, who has an iPhone 4S, was like, dude, that is awesome. That is a gorgeous picture. And I'm like, I must be jaded because I don't see what you see. What do you see? He's like, it's clear, the lighting's great, and it's a beautiful, beautiful screen. And I was like, and he asked me, should I wait for the iPhone 6 or should I just get the Galaxy S5 or the Galaxy Note 3? I'm like, that's the worst question to ask anybody because no matter what, if you wait, you're always going to be waiting, and you're always going to be waiting to wait about the waiting. So whatever the case may be, just if you need a new phone, just get a new phone, you know. But if you can wait, then yeah, sure, why not? But you know, no matter what, something's always going to be around the corner. But my point being is that I handed him the phone. I said, how was this phone compared to your iPhone? It's bigger. You can't necessarily do everything one-handed. Like his hands are a little bit bigger than mine, so being able to hit the upper left-hand corner for him wasn't as arduous task as it is for me. Like I had to completely shift the weight of my hand and then, you know, put my finger all the way up there, which actually it doesn't really hinder me during the day. To be honest with you, I don't really have any issues with that. But it was just, you know, just kind of getting into the idea of a larger screen. To him, it's like that's what I've been wanting from Apple. And if they're not going to do it, I'm going Samsung, or I'm going HTC, or I'm going LG with the LG G3, which I told him about, which we talked about a while ago. But Apple needs to have options. That's what Samsung does. Samsung gives you options. They sometimes give you really high-priced options, and they give you low-priced options, and they give you really stupid options like the Galaxy Mega, which is, whew, I forget how big the screen is, but it's like 6.3 inches, and it's stupidly big. It doesn't even scale well whatsoever. But it's an option, and Apple doesn't really have Apple's options are old or new. That's it. I like Apple. Don't try to peg me as an Apple hater. I like Apple. I like my iPad when I had it, and yes, I sold it because I don't really need it at the moment. But you know, they need to give their customers not just the color option of green, blue, red, pink, but you know, they don't want to. The iPhone 5C is essentially the iPhone 5 repackaged and rebranded. People aren't stupid. They will realize that afterwards. They're like, oh, well, then what the heck? I just saved myself $100 to get last year's phone. Like, why? Well, why would I? You know, I'll just get last year's phone and save even more money. So, more information about the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6C. I don't know what they're gonna call it, but there's talks that they're gonna be bringing out 2 new iPhones, just like they did with the iPhone 5S and the iPhone 5C. So we'll definitely touch on that when it becomes a little bit more apparent and coming close to that day, which is going to be probably September. But something closer to now is WWDC, which is next month, I think. So I think it's next month, or it could be this one. You know, let's all take a walk over here and see when WWDC is. And for those of you that are like yelling at your computer, it's this month. It's not this month, you nuke. It's next month, June 2nd to June 6th, and then right after that is E3, and then Google I/O. Whew, next month's going to be busy. Cool. All right, well, that's pretty much it for me tonight. If you guys have any questions or concerns, definitely hit me up here on YouTube or on my Google Plus page, which I guess is Plus Tony Hannity's, or you can follow me on Twitter, LTG Tony. And if I can answer any and all questions tech-related, I'd be happy to give it a shot. Before we go, let's go ahead and check out the Q&A. All right. So, Bruce, what is your status with Twit? Is there another show in the works? I'm still working with Radford Castro, who is my technical director at the Twit Studios. If you've been following me, last week it was just crazy, as well as the week before that. So they've been very, very busy over there at Twit. They're redoing a lot of stuff when it comes to, on his end of the engineering side of Twit. A lot of the stuff that you don't see on the front, he's making it work on the back end, but that's taking away a lot of his efforts, and that's how he gets paid. And him TDing my show is just kind of him donating his time. So to answer your question, we're still in limbo. And but I might try to reach out to you guys at Twitch, see if they need any other guests on the All About Android show, as well as the new show that Jason Howell is doing, which is specifically regarding Android apps. So yeah, I'll let you know. And if whether there's a show or not, I'm probably still going to do this show here. But definitely the production value is a lot higher than it is with this, with my backpack in the background and my sleeping T-shirt, and the lighting is real crappy, and the video sharing. And you said that there was some staticky stuff earlier too. So, but yeah, thank you very much for your interest in that and your support. And yeah. That's going to be it for us tonight. And we will talk to you guys another time. Take care. Bye-bye.